Hey guys, remember to like the video and hit subscribe. Yeah, but
So
well, that's true. The issue is that I think that the internet has changed things a lot, and that you can do propaganda so much better than you ever could
yeah, that's
before.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Well, I know
talked
you could
about
kind of
it.
do it in
Yeah,
the past,
before.
but oh my God, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more effective, and unfortunately, like Russia knows that, and malicious actors like that definitely use it and abuse that,
Hmm.
and I think they really fucked you with your free speech thing. Like, it's not bad as a concept, obviously, but I think it really allowed this. Everyone has a right to speak, and free speech and all of that really allowed them to go all out. And also not only Russians, but also like your own like fascicants, like Vance, for example, and people like that, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know, like anyhow. Sad news for all of us. By the way, a 50% increase in drone strikes since Trump's ceasefire thing. So we have been having a very difficult month, not only with missile strikes that killed like a ton of children on the playground recently, but also just in general, like drone attacks are daily pretty much. And I think the increase have been calculated to be about 50%. So average attacks on were like 100 drones daily, something like that. And now it's 154. So pretty significant increase, and especially in Kharkiv, we have been blowing the fuck up like this entire month.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Does it seem like it's ceasefiring to me?
Yeah, the ceasefire is indeed not ceasefiring.
Mm-hmm. Well, people on the front say like, obviously they didn't expect anything to change. They expect things to be worse, and they kind of are. Obviously, a lot of people say that the rhetoric and policy of Trump administration and America in general now is emboldening Russia to attack more, which we see with numbers of like missiles, drones, and all of that. And of course, cutting off like aid intelligence, all of that cannot be helpful to us. And they usually tend to try and use that to their advantage. For example, when there was this like, remember, I don't know if you remember, but there was like this long pause in aid because of Congress. Republicans were like Mike Johnson, people like that were
Yeah.
cutting aid for not allowing it to pass through, and they really used and abused that time period to basically use glide bombs, a ton of them on us endlessly, and also the limitation of long-range strikes as well. And I mean, I think we should not give a fuck, if I'm honest. Like, we should continue to strike the oil refinery and their energy, because that was very effective, and they obviously don't give a fuck. So what's the point of handicapping ourselves?
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously, if they have like basically a bunch of people on the front a couple of days ago said like, if America had any like actual instruments to leverages, to actually ensure 100% that Russia will abide by it, or that at the very least they will have some sort of like mechanism to ensure it, but they either don't have it or don't bother to use it. So then like, yeah, literally like it just makes our situation worse, and no benefits for us whatsoever in the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't know what the incentive would even be to cooperate with the United States or any requests. So, because you can even say for the UN, because apparently we don't believe in any international stuff anymore either. So, yeah.
I guess we are still trying to play the nice with America, because there's still hope, I guess, in our diplomats and politicians to not lose the entirety of the aid, which I think is a futile attempt. But I understand, like, obviously why they would do it as politicians. But politicians are not soldiers, so obviously soldiers have a different opinion. They really don't give a fuck about any of that shit. Yeah. Also, me and my friend Devin did a bunch of interviews and photos and things like that with the 113 Brigade. They're territorial defense, so they're like all volunteers basically. So not mobilized, not like conscripted, but volunteers. And they shoot down drones is their job essentially, that fly towards Kharkiv. So quite literally saving our asses daily. And we brought up ceasefire and Trump to them, and like all of them gathered, like 10 people came along, and like, I want to say something. I want to fuck Trump, this, that, like all very angry.
Mm-hmm.
And we have then asked the commander, who is a very cool dude. He's a cyborg, so he was defending Donetsk airport since 2014 and been basically one of the legends who still are alive from that time. Very few of them are alive right now. So we spoke with him, and he also said like that basically he considers Trump to be an accomplice of Putin and a criminal, supporting a war criminal, killing people and all of that. And he said like just two frauds playing cards on our lives, basically. And it was not allowed to publish that because a press officer came along, and he was like, nothing you said about Trump you can publish. And I'm like, I obviously want, them to be, to speak truth and to publish that. And he was like, no, you can speak about anything. You can talk Zelensky, Putin, like any other leader essentially in the world, but not Trump. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, I agree with everything they said, by the way, personally, but it's my job to, to not allow that. And like,
what do you give a reason or an excuse? Yeah.
Because I asked him, and he's like, people think he's a petty ass motherfucker that, might hear something and just make a situation worse just out of pettiness, basically. Mm-hmm. So we should kind of treat him like a toddler that can throw a tantrum, the tantrum that can sink us as a country. So we should not do it. And I'm like, that was so annoying.
Yeah.
Although I understand, obviously why, but not that they're wrong. With that assessment, but it's just it's not very free speechy, so to speak.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, what can you do? By the way, Lactoid guy who was like, oh, you can't say anything about Zelensky without getting killed, and you most definitely can. Like anyone has the right to shit on Zelensky, but Trump apparently is out of reach of critique. And also Wick and Lactoid are gonna debate on Team Pool. It's no longer a secret because he published it, Wick, so I can say it. And on Friday about Ukraine.
Boy. That'll be
oh boy.
That'll be a debate. That'll be a conversation, yeah.
Oh boy, indeed. He actually messaged me a while about it, but should be like a
Do you know when that goes? Wait, when does that happen?
Friday, I think.
Okay.
I can show you the date. He posted it week on his Twitter, I believe. But this Friday, I believe. In the morning, I think he said. But I have a date and everything. But it's just that, I'm just like worried and stuff. I'm like, I was a little bit of his Russian spy. I guess, that was helping him behind the scenes to prepare. But I am worried, obviously, because not because I don't think Wick is capable, but it's just because Lactoid is like Russian propaganda machine spitter, like Eminem
super bad
of
faith.
Russian propaganda.
Like he's just here to make sure that as many people can suck off Trump as possible. Like that's the only thing Lactoid cares about. He will never be principally attached to any argument. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, but he's also pretty out there because he's not just doing it's not our problem, Ukraine, right? Many people do this isolationism sort of route, right? That it's not our problem, nobody cares because it's why should we bother? It's not American
maybe
problem.
That might be a European thing, but no, in the United States, if you're on the Trump side, you are fully bought into all of the Russian propaganda. There aren't people who are just on the Trump side, they don't say, oh no, it's not our problem. They buy into all the Russian propaganda. So that means that Zelensky is a dictator. There have been no free elections. He's banning the Russian language. They banned religions. It's all of those talking points. You will not find any MAGA people that just say, oh, no, we just shouldn't be involved. Those people don't exist anymore. It's all propagandized.
I thought they did because I kind of saw exist. I mean, because I saw that from MAGA, from Republicans, and also from MAGA and libertarians, which fuck those guys. But anyway,
if you think you see them, then ask them 2 questions and the mask will slip, guaranteed.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, also I thought they existed and I saw them, but to me it always come off as a little bit maybe not I didn't buy it fully. So it always seemed to me like a cover basically for a much stronger positions, and it's just more palatable basically, right? To say oh, we just don't support intervention and things like that. How was his face? Dave Smith, I think.
Yeah.
he does that a lot. Like he pretends to be like, this. He just, doesn't support American military-industrial complex.
Or they don't
blah
want
blah
war.
blah.
They don't want innocent people to die.
Yeah.
It's always some bullshit like this. Yeah, always.
Yeah. But he then, if you actually like try to poke him a little bit, I actually recently saw a little clip. I don't know if you saw it, about him basically saying that it's Britain's fault. World War II, because he was like, if we didn't intervene, it might have been just contained in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's because that Ian Carroll guy, I think, or no, it was a different person, but basically saying that like Churchill was the main bad guy, and if it wasn't for Churchill, then Hitler wouldn't have gone further, and we all got involved. Yeah, it was just dumb shit.
It's straight up, first of all, like straight up, but second of all, not only is it a, it's also like, as an Eastern European, it makes your blood boil a little bit.
Yeah.
To say the least, because they're basically like, we would just sacrifice those subhuman Eastern Europeans and didn't do anything. By the way, they didn't do anything. They took Poland and they took Czechoslovakia and the Baltics, and nobody intervened. By the way, Finland as well. So Finland at least fought with Winter War. But the broader point is, they're like, well, if we just let Nazis and communists those people to death, then it won't be chill. We didn't have to intervene.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the exact same logic they're using now to say that they shouldn't help Ukraine, which is kind of funny if you think about it that way. Yeah. Yeah. So all of that was bullshit, it seems. So like though, it was basically like, but he's a little bit further on, I think, than most people still, because he's like, actually, Russian invasion today is justified. Because that's his like whole point. He actually wanted to debate me separately about it, which I said no, I don't want to fuck that shit. I really don't want in year 25 to debate Donbass people. Okay, that never happened. It's just it's also the legitimacy of Yanukovych as a president, like holy guacamole. It's like, it's so old.
Mm-hmm.
It's very old. And so his claim is basically that we were being like genocidal towards like Donbass people, and Russia had the rights to intervene and to stop that from happening, which literally nobody agrees to. Like, Russia appealed to ICC, and they said nothing is happening, no nothing. Human Rights Watch said so. United Nations said so. In fact, the claim of Russia was so ridiculous that most people didn't even hide their disdain towards the claim. They would be like, it's ridiculous, it's not happening. About like, I think 30 or 50 experts of like scholars of genocide said that it's actually like a mirror technique. So they're like blaming us because they want to commit themselves against Ukraine, and they want this like to be a motive of their invasion, which is exactly what happened. So the experts were right, but it's just so ridiculous because it's not even debated. Like,
I mean, it's like, if you want to, it's not, this isn't a real talking point. It's just like, people are just retarded, because you can always just flip this around onto these other people and change the actors, and they'll change immediately. Like, Russia was going in to save the peace. It's like, oh, did we go to Iraq to stop Saddam Hussein from killing innocent people? Did we help Israel to stop Hamas from killing innocent people? Did we help, did we go to Afghanistan to save innocent people? Did we go to Vietnam to save innocent people? Like, they'll always be super critical of the U.S. When it comes to that, but for some reason they believe every single thing that Putin says verbatim. Stupid. Yeah.
I really wanted to ask him. I didn't have the chance because it was like a screaming match, but I hope Week might, about like Chechnya, because it's just hilarious that he says like Russia had the right to intervene for Donbass because Donbass people wanted to be independent, which by the way is not true. Only 27% wanted to be, but it doesn't really matter at this point. But even if they did legitimately, right, it was actual like legitimate strife.
Sure.
What did Russians do to Chechen people when Chechnya wanted to be independent?
Yeah.
Did they let them go? No, they actually killed 1,000,000 of them. Yeah, that's what happened. 500,000, I guess, in new age wars, right? And mass murder, people consider it. Europe admitted it to be at least European Court of Human Rights. So, but Chechens, I mean, what Russians did, right? And it's also have been people of completely different ethnicity, religion, they're Muslim, everything it's quite literally just a colonized people that wanted to be independent when Soviet Union collapsed from Russia. like other countries were, Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, all of them,
All the
right?
former Soviet,
And
yeah.
yeah, but Russia refused essentially, and decided to refuse with gusto, quote unquote. So yeah, that's kind of like interesting that nobody brings that up, and also no outrage for the Muslim brothers in Chechnya apparently. So, yeah. How big is the body count now in Palestine? I don't even know. Like
I think it's still like
through the entire
40,
country.
50,000 maybe. I'm not sure though. I don't know.
Oh, so not 500,000.
No, that number was always
Okay.
bullshit when it came out. That was a stupid. It was like a guess
No, I
of
mean,
like what. Yeah.
it's a Chechnya number. Like it
Sorry.
goes from half number to 1 million. It's an actual number. Yeah, nobody knows the exact number, unfortunately, because of the of the practices of Russia there. But yeah, it's just. I'm not saying that the obviously like Israel is not doing like many casualties and things like that, and also killing people in Palestine with the number is obviously huge. But for a short time period. But yeah, it's just very interesting how selective is all of that. Like nobody speaks about Aleppo, nobody speaks about Grozny in Chechnya and Syria, which are also Chechnya is literally like a colony. There's like no way to describe that.
Yeah, and I think Grozny
And
was like one of the most destroyed cities, like worse than Aleppo, like in all of history. Like the siege on that, I think it was the second Chechen war. It was like unbelievable
yes,
for the amount of destruction.
First one did a lot of damage, but second they really went like all out. So that was almost all human rights organizations said that there was like no regard whatsoever to like any rules of war, any life of civilians, anything. If anything, they said they attacked, they killed people deliberately. So that was like the goal of the mission too. And of course, like mass like deportation, looting, like insane shit was happening.
Yeah.
And yeah. Which is, by the way, one of the main reasons why we are so apprehensive, because we know how it went with first war they lost, right, Russia, and they lost a fuck ton of equipment, people, and they then made a ceasefire agreement with Chechnya, and in a couple of years they shot all over that ceasefire agreement and attacked them again and did what they did. So that's kind of like our view of what they want to do with Ukraine. And this whole situation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What can I say?
What can you do?
I can't promote my shit though. So if you are able to show it, I can like maybe even comment a little bit on it if guys are interested to see like weapons and shit. But can you show the post on Twitter or from Reddit? Which one is better?
Either one. Just like one, and I can do it. Yeah, sure.
Give me a sec. I think it's cool because we have like actually been able to film actual like weapons, which is usually not allowed, specifically because it endangers OPSEC situation.
Sure.
But we were very careful, and we had like a press officer with us and all of it to not film anything that is might endanger people. Yeah, let me send you on Discord. I actually can't see you though, so I cannot comment on what you're showing.
You can't. What do you mean you can't see me?
I can't see what you're doing on my computer, but I can show it on my phone.
If you send me I'm saying if you send me the link on Discord, I can open the link on my stream. Is what I mean.
Yeah, but I meant I'm not seeing like what you're gonna be showing basically. If you can show it with me here, that would be cool. Yeah, or later if you want. But yeah, that's the Reddit thingy. And I can also open up your stuff to see it. Yeah, that's basically some pictures from our trip, and we were like driven there on a bus and on like a mini van, I guess you could say, would be more correct. I don't know cars, okay? I don't understand cars. So when it comes to like that van we used to get there was actually bombed yesterday by an Iskander missile, and it completely exploded. So my original goal was to do a fundraiser for the power station for the guys, but then it's now shifted towards doing the fundraiser for the van that I drove for the last time. Rest in peace, van. And now it's in shambles. So yeah, if you can show it, that would be cool. Yeah, there's some pictures. There's actually a picture, very cool pictures of the weapon they stole from Russia, and they're now using it to take down drones. and also the artillery thingy that they also use. But they mostly use just like basically like machine guns on cars to run around, drive around, and shoot down drones. You can also jam them, obviously, but jamming is the main technology. But also there is a problem that they change frequencies a lot. So you like figure out one frequency, and then it becomes difficult when they change to jam them. So yeah, although most of the jamming stuff is our technology.